Craig and Robert, we know you guys are busy today. This is a big day for you guys. We're glad we caught up to you for just a minute. You know, I don't think folks realize how big a deal this is to put on an event of this size. This takes a lot of work. Explain to us just a little bit of what it takes.
Well, you know, passion. Passion would be the first ingredient. You know, we're eager to invite more of our Cache Valley people up here to join us and help us put this on so we can be sure that we continue to offer this. We think it's a worthwhile community event. We need a lot of volunteers who are just on hand during the day to run errands, help us set up some things. We also are eager to have people who are willing to serve over a couple of months in planning meetings so that we can build this and make it the kind of event that is fun for everybody. So yes, there's a lot of dedication, and I will say it again, passion.
A lot of passion, a lot of dedication, and a lot of getting different groups in the same town at once. That's a big collaboration. We were talking earlier, there was a lady who mentioned, hey, why don't you do this 2 weeks earlier? And he was like, well, the pipers are in competition. The athletes are doing something over there. Dancers are in.
You know, there is an entire national circuit of Scottish festivals and games that has been established for a number of years, and our pipers, our athletes, our dancers are all very involved with circulating through all of those so they can get their points for their championships. We actually had to find a date that wasn't already taken that would still hopefully give us fairly good weather. We're Scots, but even we get a little tired of the wind and the rain. So, but again, this is the reason we're here now, is so we could actually take advantage of when they could be with us.
And you were saying last week you were in Jackson Hole.
Well,
today you're in Logan.
We weren't. Many of them were, because Jackson Hole had its games last weekend. Pleasanton, California is next weekend, and it goes on. I mean, there are sequencings of games throughout the nation, one right after the other. It can be a very busy season.
So this is like a full-time job for some of these people.
I think so. Yes. Did we mention passion?
Yeah, definitely.
For some of the vendors, it is a full-time job. That's what they do to earn a living. So some of the vendors that are here, they travel a circuit to festivals throughout the United States, usually the Western United States.
Well, we're so happy that this is the second year the Celtic Festival has been here. We're very happy that you guys are back. And the chieftain of this year's games, David Campbell, tell us what he said in his opening ceremony speech that really brings it home for the Cache Valley.
Let me give a little more background. David Campbell is a former president of the Clan Campbell Society for North America. He has traveled to Scotland many times, is a friend of the Duke of Argyll, who is the total honorary clan chieftain of Clan Campbell. He is also a former president of our Utah Scottish Association. He has been a continuous supporter of the Utah Scottish community. And this afternoon, his comments were, you know, I've been to some of the largest games in the world. This is one of my very favorites. It's still the small, intimate setting. It has the very feel of a true Scottish festival and Highland game. So we're honored.
And that is a very great honor to think that this would be his favorite place to come. And you were mentioning to me earlier, I mean, this kind of looks like the Highlands of Scotland. You got
We've had several people that are natives of Scotland, some vendors, some of our board, as well as people on our board who have traveled extensively in the Scottish Highlands. And their description is it's just like a giant hand came down and took a piece of the Highlands out and stuck it right here.
Wow.
This is exactly what a little more lush than this, but in the spring it would be indistinguishable from the Scottish Highlands.
That's a fact I think very few of us know.
Very few. And there were a lot of Scots here very early. You know, the mountain men that were first in here, they were Scots as well. Part of it was because they were used to harsh climates. Part of it was because the fur companies liked them because they could travel both on the land and the sea and lakes and rivers. They were used to really difficult circumstances. Their lives weren't a whole lot better than they were living as mountain men. So they were used to harsh conditions. They were used to harsh climates. They were used to sparse diets. Some companies, like the American Fur Company, hired almost exclusively Highlanders. The Hudson's Bay Company preferred people from the Isles because they knew how to handle something on the sea or across the Great Lakes or all those different reaches of the Rocky Mountains. This was familiar country to the Scots. They were used to being in the mountains when they were from the Isles and the Highlands.
Good workers, and you were mentioning their calves looked like tree trunks.
These folks
Sturdy folks.
had only one means of
Survivors.
transportation. Horses are not much good up the Wellsvilles. Going over the top, you're better off on foot than trying to take a horse over the top of the well. And that's how they had to get around. They just had these little glens. This would be a huge expanse of real estate in Scotland, kind of more along the likes of the Great Glen, Cache Valley. Most wasn't this large a flat area. There were small little pockets of land that were cultivated and lived in for multiple generations, for forever, by Scottish families, and who all knew their neighbors and would walk everywhere. Imagine walking.
And barefooted,
Imagine
oftentimes.
walking from here to Tremonton over the top of the Wellsvilles. Well, they would drive cattle over those distances. The early, for example, the Chisholm, as in the Chisholm Trail, he was a Scot. And they knew how to drive cattle, and they were very, very good at subsistence living.
Very, very interesting. Oh, we could stand here and listen to this all day. Unfortunately, we run out of time. But
Next year, have people come to our presentations, because we actually provide a number of presentations, because we know most people don't know, even those that have the Celtic ancestry, Scots, Irish, Welsh, they just don't know their stories. We're pleased to share them with them.
well, we are so thrilled that you guys have come back for a second year, and we will see you back here for the third annual.
We look forward to it. Thank you,
Thank
Jared.
you.